Hey guys, what is up? Mike here, Laker Talk. Let's talk Lakers basketball. Amongst other thing in sports, shout out to the Nationals. They win the World Series. I want to touch on that. And I want to go around the NBA, give my thoughts on what's going on before I get to the main headline. Kyle Kuzma is coming back, playing this Friday against the Mavericks. That's going to be super cool to see what he does off the bench and how he changed the dynamic of our bench and our team in general. That's going to be awesome. Let's talk about it. But first and foremost, I got to give props to the Nationals. They win the World Series after being a wild card team. Basically, in the MLB, a wild card team plays a one and done, basically a winner takes all just to get in. They won. Who they beat? I forgot who they beat. Was it the Mets? I forgot. But then they played the Dodgers, and they beat up on my Dodgers. I left with tears. Didn't like, but they stepped up, and I didn't know they were that good. And then they go and swept the Cardinals, and then they play the Astros, and this series was crazy. The road team won every single game. Nationals won the first two in Houston. Houston won the next three in DC. And then the Nationals come back and took the next two. So I was thinking, if my team, the Dodgers, was going to lose to any particular team, I'd rather it be from the World Series champs and not the Houston Astros that kind of dogged us in 2017. And they are super, 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 super cocky. So I don't mind the Nats winning the first time they've won in the last 95 years. So shout out to the Nationals for winning the World Series. Let's move on. On to the NBA. A lot of stuff, a lot of games going on in NBA. First and foremost, the Suns look like they are a playoff team. They are giving the Warriors the business. And not to go into detail on that game because I didn't watch anything, but Steph Curry came down on his wrist, and that dude, Aaron Baines, that dude's a monster. He weighs like 300 pounds or whatever. Came down crashing on his wrist. It sounded horrible, and I think Steph's wrist is broken. That didn't look good at all when you see the replay, and he couldn't even shoot the basketball. So he left, and I think he's done for a minute. But with that said, I hate injuries. I wish no bad injuries on any team, because you start wishing that on some players and teams and whatnot, it'll come back on your particular team. So I hate injuries. Go away. We got to do what NBA gods, please keep injuries away from us and other teams. I don't want injuries to happen to nobody. All right, that's just my feeling, man. Karma will come back and haunt you. Moving on to the next game, Timberwolves was getting handed to them by the 76ers, and then Joel Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns get into a little scrap, and they're headlocking and all that stuff. And I tweeted out that Embiid seems to be like the biggest troll. It just seems to be like, yes, I guess Karl Anthony Towns couldn't take it. He was getting handed it to him. They were down by 20 or whatnot. But Embiid seems to be like the biggest troll in the NBA. He's always, doing this thing and all that stuff, and just getting under people's skin. But the dude can hoop, and he's one of the best centers in the league, if not the best center in the league. And but it just looks like, it's just childish, man. Respect the game and come out. If somebody's gonna, get in your face and whatnot, handle your business. But you could see him after that fight kind of go over to Mike Scott, because Mike Scott had that fight when he was going to that Redskins game or whatever, and he was like messing around. Man, come on, man. Come on, Embiid. Stop being a child and respect the game. Get back to business. Anyway, Cavs beat the Bulls. Magic beat the Knicks. Raptors beat Pistons. Celtics beat the Bucks, which is a pretty good game. That's a tough game. Those two teams that's going to be facing each other in the playoffs. And I didn't really watch that game, but I see that they beat the Bucks. That's pretty interesting. Kyrie loses again, scores 28, loses to the Pacers, which is a bad team. So Kyrie is struggling right now. He's struggling because the media is getting on him. The media calls him weird. People are calling him weird. He's kind of moody and things like that. He doesn't have Kevin Durant, and I was gonna say Kevin Garnett. He doesn't have Kevin Durant, and he's struggling. He's scoring a lot of points, but you flip the script and you put D'Angelo Russell on that squad was meshing well, right? You bring Kyrie in there, they got issues. I love Kyrie, but this is something that probably hits at the core, of a guy who can score like Kobe, but your team is not doing so well. Anyway, moving on. Trailblazers beat the Thunder, and then the Rockets and the Wizards 159 to 158. Harden goes for 59 points. That score is not even in overtime. That's regulation. That's just a horrible defense. 159 to 158. Come on, man. Please. Harden goes 59. Whatever. Moving on to the other two. Hornets beat the Kings. Sorry, Luke. Your Kings are garbage. 0-5. But the last game, the game of the night, Utah Jazz giving the Clippers the business, 110 to 96. Final. Listen, I know they're resting Kawhi Leonard, but to me, and I know they got Bogdanovich back. I can't pronounce his name, but Bogdanovich or whatever. The dude can shoot. But this game, Mike Conley went for 29. Patrick Beverley was playing, and everybody else was playing. Mike Conley went for 29. I was looking at Mike Conley that game against us, and I was like, he had the KCP virus. The dude couldn't hit the left side of a barn, and he went for 29 this game. For what it's worth, I'm happy that the Clippers lost. Even though they're resting Kawhi Leonard, I think without their stars, they're not as good as us defensively. That's what I get from this. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. It doesn't mean much. They don't have their two stars or superstars that's going to be there for the rest of the year, and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and they're doing that load management thing. So it's fine. But the fact that they lost, good. Anyway, moving on to the Lakers. So we got Kyle Kuzma back, but before that, speaking about load management, I like what Frank Vogel is doing with our team. He's kind of doing the load management thing, but with practice. I noticed that he canceled a practice a few days ago after our win, and he canceled practice today after our win against the Grizzlies. I like that approach. Like, let's say we win a game, we're actually doing things right. We can probably do some film sessions. I like that approach. We don't have to practice each and every day. And practice, that's a lot of wear and tear on your knees and all that stuff. So do the load management that way. I really like that approach. Continue to do that. Give our guys practice off after we win a game. If we lose a game, maybe we walk through some things and kind of go through some films and try to correct a few things. But if we blow a team up by 30, give them the day off. I love that. Give us some rest. So we have today off. We have tomorrow, which is, I think we're going to do a little practice tomorrow on Halloween. And then we're going to fly out to Mavericks, and then we should be well rested for Mavericks come Friday. And so, but having said that, Kyle Kuzma's coming back. Love having Kyle Kuzma back. This is huge. Excited to see how this goes. We have our starters, Avery, Green, LeBron, AD, and JaVale. And then we have Kuzma off the bench, a 6'9" forward, swing man, whatever you want to call him, a guy that can give buckets. I look for Kyle Kuzma to ball out. I mean, obviously we got to ease him back in. We don't know how the foot's going to be, but really excited. I haven't seen Kyle Kuzma in like 6 months. I haven't seen him play. Haven't seen what he does. But we are lacking offensive firepower on the bench. So we are in desperate need of anything. So if Kyle Kuzma can even chip in with 10, 12 points here and there, do what he do, shoot, slash, cut, go in there and be a microwave. He's got the green light. When he comes in off the bench, we need a guy that can get buckets. We don't need him to facilitate. We don't need him to do anything. That's the role of a guy that's coming off the bench. That's why I like Kyle Kuzma off the bench. When you start, you need to be able to play make. You need to play in the confines of that offense and do some things. When you come in off the bench, green light, take some shots, and get buckets. Give your guy the buckets. And you're going to be asked to defend as well, because one thing our guys do off the bench pretty well, KCP, really KCP in general, and Dwight Howard, is they come in and they kind of maintain that defensive intensity that we get from Danny Green and Avery Bradley. So I look forward to having Kyle Kuzma back. I don't really know I know Mavericks are a good team. They have, superstars. Like when I call a team like a scrub team, like the Grizzlies and things like that, they're not scrubs. They just don't have any superstars, and they're not in playoff contention. The Mavericks, in my opinion, is not a scrub team. They have two young superstars in Luka and Kristoff, and they have a lot of guys that are how should I say it? They're confident. They're confident. They're coached well, and they don't back down. And so that's gonna be a tough game, but I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, that's my thoughts. As always, thanks for commenting, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing to my YouTube channel. As always, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MikeSportsLA. Make sure after the video, hover over my little circle, my head, and put your mouse there. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification to be notified when I release videos like this every single day. As always, thanks for being a part of this growth of my YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.